Okay, we're back after unexpected break. We're trying to figure out with the power situation here in the legislature, and also thank the IT for rebooting and resetting that link so that our people can get to see what the discussion is today. So, Secretary Mafnas, I think you still have the floor. You want to hand it back to the committee, or you're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Are you still waiting for the Wi-Fi?
No,
Or
I think
are we gonna?
I think we're good to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you need to have you going to do presentation?
Oh no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. All right. So with that, Director Maritita, would you like to offer some comments?
I'm gonna. You want me to just?
Yes, I
continue?
will. Probably the secretary will just continue off of where she left off before the power went out. So we're just gonna have her complete that statement. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay. So with that, thank you both again for coming over to be with the committee on to discuss 2430 HB 2430. So I would yield my question, and I'll allow the members first to pose their question with regards to this particular bill and the associated and impact of the origin of the cannabis funds. So at this time, Senator.
Mr. Chair, I think the Secretary was in the middle of her comments before the power shut off.
Okay, so you want to continue on, Dispensa? Go ahead, Secretary.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Let me just continue where I left off. Okay. While the Senate voted to disapprove the order, the House did not act within the constitutional review period. As a result, the order became effective on January 18, 2026, and Commerce is implementing the law as it currently stands. The executive order changed where the work is housed, not whether the work exists. House Bill 24-30 SD1 funds the regulatory function, not a specific structure, and ensures continuity of oversight during this transition. In closing, the department views House Bill 24-30 SD1 as a conservative appropriations bill that protects school funding, uses no general fund dollars, and supports accountability during tight fiscal times. We appreciate the committee's oversight and welcome to discuss this bill and address questions your esteemed committee may have. And to my right, I have David R. Maritita, Director of Alcohol, Beverage, Tobacco, should I say CS Commission Control? Cannabis Control? ABTC Director. Okay, thank you. I forgot. He will be also answering questions. Thank you.
You're good? Okay, so with that, thank you again. I recognize Senator Frank Q. Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And good morning, Secretary Mafnas and Director Maridita. Just to clarify from your department, how much federal grant are you guys receiving? The Commerce?
The Department of Commerce.
Yeah, the overall federal grant that your department is receiving from our federal government.
Right now, on top of my head, I don't have the number, but I know that our Central Statistics receives grant, and so as the...
Just an approximate number, no, if you don't mind?
It's
Federal
just,
grants?
hundreds of thousands, but not a million.
Just recently, the ABTC had an award for 1.3 million in federal funds. It's not necessarily a grant, but it's through a contract that we are providing services to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. And of course, there's other federal programs that are under the umbrella of the Department of Commerce, but the exact total amount we can come back for that answer, no, Senator, if you.
That's why you might be thinking why I'm asking that.
Yes.
Because recently there's a order by the administration to transfer the cannabis to your department to manage it. Would this, and I don't know how sensitive is that federal funding that you're receiving, would this affect, because, right now, still Schedule 1 under federal law, the federal still against marijuana.
Yes.
Would this affect? Because I don't know how much exactly we're receiving every year under cannabis versus what you're receiving every year under federal funding. And
Okay.
would this affect
Yeah.
your department by managing cannabis commission?
Thank you for that question, Senator. So we have communicated with our counterparts at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. We gave them a heads up with respect to the Executive Order 2025-005, transferring the functions of the cannabis functions over to the Department of Commerce ABTC Division. While the contract for the FDA is just specifically for providing services to FDA, we got a response from our counterparts that as long as we don't commingle the funds with respect to local funds or federal funds with the cannabis funds, then they don't have any worries about that, because we have strict funding utilities with the contract that we have with FDA. So whatever that we provide services only funded by FDA programs. Okay, so yes, we do have that communication that they, as long as we don't commingle the funds, then the operations will be not affected with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that information, because my concern here is once we pass legislation and in the future affect big time our department versus like for example I mentioned earlier, you guys receiving $1 million or maybe more, no, versus how much we're generating from cannabis, and you're gonna lose the opportunity. Good thing that you've been communicating with them.
Yes.
And I will appreciate, I
Yes.
appreciate personally knowing from you guys that you have reached out to the federal partners
Yes.
whether or not this could be an issue, no? Losing federal funds will be very, very serious, because as we all know that the Commonwealth is not generating so much, and we're only depending on at this time only depending on tourism revenue, and hopefully I'm always hoping that tourists will continue to come and we continue to collect revenue, but other than tourism, we don't have any other big or big company that can be able to subsidize, once we lack the tourist arrival to cover those loophole, no?
Yes.
We don't have any other industry that can subsidize. So thank you for that information. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You back.
Absolutely, Senator. Thank you.
Scissors must see Senator Cruz. Any other member? Floor Leader Donald Maloney.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, and thank you, Secretary and Director, for your presence here today. I guess the question that I have pertains to whether or not ABTC has been able to calculate the cost of operating the cannabis side of the department with what I assume would be the transfers of employees and the duties and responsibilities of regulating and enforcing the cannabis statute. Have you been able to assess your operational costs, and if you've taken over the employees of the Cannabis Commission, who's currently funding those employees right now?
Yes, sir, Senator. Thank you for that question. Yes, we did a fiscal impact with respect to the 3 staff that we were absorbing to the division, and that came around $92,000 total for the whole year fiscal impact. With respect to the operations itself, we make sure that the continuity of the operations, goes along with during the effective date. So there's no what I call it setback with the operations or any licensees that are affected with the transfer of the operations to Department of Commerce. So that one we make sure that we reached out to our stakeholders and also the staff to make sure that the transition are run smoothly into the operations. There's no setback, and the operations again continued as we speak. There's no other effect to that, no transition. Now the operation, I'm seeing the House Bill 24-30. There's some strikes here from the original proposal from Representative Yang Tenmai. So we wanna also, we recognize that some of these operations that were stricken are, it's essential to continue with the current operation that the staff are maintaining to ensure compliance of the licensees. And one of those also that we see that it's essential is training. What we're doing right now is cross-training our ABTC staff along with the cannabis staff, and vice versa. We're going to be cross-training our cannabis staff doing ABTC regulatory operations. So that in itself, I see that we want to kind of discuss this also with how we're going to put some of these proposed operational expenditure or funds here to support the training, most especially training, and also our outreach. We plan to have our outreach program infused into what we're currently doing in reaching out to the community and also the schools to educate the students with respect to alcohol, tobacco, and of course we're adding in also cannabis. First and foremost, to educate the students regarding the regulations and the consequences of violating those laws. Okay, so the secretary and I wanna request, to give more time to see what operations here that because I understand that, we understand that some of these amendments or the draft SD1 did is striking off most of the operations here in its entirety. But again, we can, put in our public comments, official comments to this SB, because we haven't received any solicitation for comments on this House bill. So we would be more than appreciative, and to have more time to submit what we see that is essential under the operational aspect of this amendment or the draft.
Yeah, Director, I think at the time that the Senate had worked on this bill, we had not acted on the disapproval of the governor's executive order.
Understood.
Being that the Senate had voted on the disapproval of that just late mid part of last month. Mm-hmm. I think this is where prior to the Senate acting on it, we can further amend the bill to include some of these funds for the operations of ABTC, mm-hmm. which is why my question today is currently, how are you paying for these employees absent any appropriation from the legislature?
Okay, thank you for that question, Senator. That's a very, very important question because of the intent of the executive orders to transition the staff over to commerce, we have to make sure that we have that means to make sure that it happens, right? That it takes effect without any delay or whatnot. So we use our revolving account to what I call it, put aside the funding for now until everything is settled down with this transition and the executive order taking effect. And we're looking at reimbursing that revolving account from the cannabis once if these appropriations are put into place, put into act.
Okay.
Right.
Do you know does this change the status of those employees from what I would assume they were accepted service? Now, would they be considered civil service under ABTC?
Okay, we've discussed that with OPM, and we're looking at 6 months down the line to transition them into a civil service position. But as of now, we continue with their current contract as they, as we speak.
Okay. I think if the members are still going to act on it, prior to our discussion with you right now, is that this bill may be included in our session on Friday. So if you're able to come up with a cost breakdown of your expenses and personnel,
Sure.
we can make those amendments during our session. If you can do the written comment before then, because our session is going to be in Tinian. I think also based on your fiscal impact analysis, the 90,000 that you're proposing for these 3 employees,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming is for the entire fiscal year.
Yes.
Okay, and from my understanding, they were funded up until I think January.
Yes,
and
that is
so,
correct.
If you can provide us the remaining months within the fiscal year of how much they would need to be funded, and then maybe we can reallocate. Right now, the current proposal in the Senate draft is that 84,000 shall be set aside for wages and salaries.
Mhm.
But if we can just cover at least up until September 30th,
Yes.
and then the remaining of those 84 can be used for the operations of the ABTC to consider
Yes.
for the operational side of the ABTC cannabis
Operations.
portion. How many do you know how many licensees there are under the Cannabis Commission, or the cannabis licensees?
Yes. Let me just quickly pull that up.
And while you're pulling that up, Director,
Yes.
Secretary, I think this bill was drafted back in June of 2025. Between then and today, if you're aware of any renewals or any additional revenues that may have come in from that time, by Friday, we can even possibly amend the bill to increase that amount to what the balance is currently today.
We have the balance.
Is that a certified fund balance?
Yes, thank you.
As of when?
This morning.
Okay.
So,
Okay, Senator. So,
I'm sorry, perhaps you can just share with the committee so that we can
okay,
provide
thank
the
you.
update.
Thank you for that question. We got the funding balance this morning. So,
yeah, so this morning there's an uncertified amount of 69,349 added into the what's shown on this bill. So the total right now for the 1501B account is 441,792.50 as
Sorry,
of
what was
today.
that? 400.
441,792.50.
Do you have the 1501S?
Yeah, the 1501S as of today, it's 113,880.33. So that's 113,880.33.
Okay.
Again, this one is not uncertified amount, but I got this from fund status from our
Units?
counterpart in OMB.
Oh, OMB.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you able to pull up the data on the licenses?
Yes, right now we have 6 current active dispensers on island. We do not have any in Tinian or Rhoda. And for the producers, I'm going to have to get back with you with that, Senator. But from what my own knowledge is, I believe there's 4 producers currently licensed.
Okay. And are all of these licenses good for a 1 year period, or are some of these more than a year?
They are for 1 year, renewable every year.
Okay. I guess considering the increased amount, based on what you've provided with the committee this morning, I think maybe in preparation for Friday's session, if you're able to reallocate some of those funds or propose where we can use some of those funds, we can also maybe make amendments to the bill to include the new account balances, while also considering what the committee had already agreed in terms of setting aside some funds for the retirees' pension as well as MLSC. So anything in addition to that is something that we can consider appropriating to ABTC. Before Friday, our session's at 2 p.m. So, I mean, preferably Thursday if that's possible. Thank you.
Is that in Tinian, right?
Our session will be in Tinian, yes.
Okay, so probably I might be in Tinian also and provide that
Okay.
information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, you-
Floyd Manglonia. Any other member before I recognize Senator Cruz one more time? Senator Cruz, recognize. Okay, I do have a question, no, secretaries and no director, no. Listian ni ma creatis tine na octune. Todo tempo fa faisin isti of the manoni para na successful sti inter-island commerce. No, Bentista in Liliana, gua gipresenti pago na momento si Trump administration pro ma declassify, no, sti from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 ni. Tutungo administratively mauno ni gaigi no chinya. Logo le lekuna no nigi uno patino supportasti na legislation gitu donne sa uli potensyo na para tanaya oportunidad imaniluta kisa tinian jan luta pero fan mambaba zonya dispensary no dan fan managwan oportunidad los tapago nora tadza nigi ni pagon sa sangan no director Dave pues utungan na no ansuloki experience and mizo nisti tamano pren exercise ti siya enforcement and public education and marketing and ano gi bandan ABTC ne and then you got another C in commission cannabis guaha sinya un share gi zahami tamanos ti ni pata overcome is una hurdle with regards to sti inter-island commerce isti bandan isti na product noting na if you look here strategically na itati panan tres miza susung nautical miles or afagizi kada isla gini no ni para ta control ni under CNMI
Yes.
submerged land ni anum itaw silo high reserve lo kita ti zilingnya 2/3 is a Tinian and Fireland and Mandanija. So tunga na the challenges ano na lo ami ta supportas tina legislation and industry as ay ti para feel good asti bata na tatsogi sa kwa no advocacy in the community na it's gonna happen milingeta. I think the federal government had actually kind of left it to the state pro regulate this. That's what we did, no?
Yes.
When we passed the legislation. Lo, now that it's under your watch, under the executive branch, how do we overcome this? Have you guys get any guidance from the AAG that's representing the agency?
Well, Senator, thank you for that very important question. No, yes, and again, that's the hurdle that we see with respect to interstate. No, it's considered as an interstate commerce. We're using the vessels that we transport our product in between islands, right? No, it's very important also to see how we can counter that restrictions. The CNMI is CNMI, Commonwealth, the Northern Marianas as a whole, right? And although it's not a state right now, but it's considered Saipan, Tinian Road as one CNMI. And if we can, I just got back from the Texas Cannabis Policy Conference. I just arrived yesterday, and I see some potential. Because they discuss also with regard to the president's executive order to reclassify cannabis from class 1 to class 3. So, but that one is not going to happen anytime soon, as it was discussed there. But interstate and intrastate commerce, it was also discussing that, because if it's a hemp-deprived product, I mean, that's allowable to be brought into other states, from one state to another, right? Except marijuana, which is, still classified as class 1 drugs. But there is potential that we can, once if that executive order comes into play or comes into effect, then that probably will allow us to, put that context in based on that executive order between our inter-island transportation. Right? Probably we may not use aircraft, or just at least boat, locally transported products into the inter-islands. It's not going to Guam, or it's just between Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda to address that challenge.
No, ilang mo na gwa no pamphlet ni siya binti legislation or regulation for that
yes,
matter?
I'm right now compiling all the videos that were discussed in that conference, policy conference, and we'll share with the members of the.
So how are you rolling this out in Rota and Tinian right now?
How
are we rolling out the monitoring of the cannabis operation on Rota and Tinian at this juncture right now? Or what's the plan of the agency? Are you going to hire more people to
probably
effectuate the enforcement of this, or are we?
Probably for now, no, Senator, because of the financial strains right now, or challenges right now that the cinema is facing, we will reach out to our counterparts in Tinian and Rhoda, the current ABTC officers that are there, and have them cross-train and whatnot. Because we know for a fact that, there are strains in, cannabis, in Tinian and Rhoda, not necessarily transported or whatnot, but it's there ever since, even before the Cinema Commission was, Cannabis Commission was created. Right, the marijuana has been here on island, all 3 islands. And it's just that we're regulating it now to make sure that, you know, it's properly regulated and properly enforced. And, you know, but yeah, we are going to cross-train our counterparts also in Tinian and Rhoda for the cannabis training before we trickle our enforcement boots on the ground and, you know, whatnot on the other 2 islands.
Okay, babe, I'll leave you with this later, Director and Secretary. Naging ba training? Na fanolo mi manyaluta giza luta zan tinian along konni zan sa. The more exposure they get, the more comfort they can, you know, they can be. Ni paro exercise tuliran yan I know we always say that there's no money and all that, but now, you know, we're in a business to service the public every day, whether there's money or not. And we deploy this. We deploy this, and it's no turning back from no.
Yes.
So lupata altogether, but my pora and I must stay industrial. I don't think that's where we're gonna go, right? No. Medyo gibi faisano jogi mo ni siya na tinadik ni para ta escalate i process is to a senatorial district the koski siya no to maximize the benefit of it no. Para fadita patana na kuma sa na discussion lo. Thank you. I want to circle back on what Floor Leader Manglonia is saying about the update on your requests for this distribution.
Okay.
Because as what he was saying earlier, we had this legislation in motion here prior to the abolishment or the EO of the entity.
Understood. Yeah.
No, so we couldn't overemphasize the need for that to get the information right away. So I don't have any more questions. Any other members before we? Oh, Senator Calvo, recognize.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to comment because I know we had that theme in the beginning when I came in, you know, streamlining. And this is the classic example of streamlining, where you're getting this entity due to even financial circumstances coming in to merge with one. So we're going through this process together. And it is a sample for the other departments that will come across this as well. So it's, and, you know, that's why the questions with the personnel, you know, going through that, how is it, like Senator Floor Leader Donald mentioned, how is that going to come about? Good that we have all those aspects in place. And Chairman Jude, you know, how we can offer, because I do have family members that always talk about the cannabis industry and exclusiveness, and, you know, that we've had these products and how we can make it work for the municipality to contribute to our, be a contributing member. So I'm happy to know that, you know, Chairman Jude is saying, hey, whether we have finances or not, we come together and see how we can work this out, because we want to also in the municipality help and contribute more in regards to the industry, as well as this one. I was looking at just the initial appropriations on this bill and trying to lock in certain funds and appropriations to safeguard, you know, whatever income is coming in. But again, for the next fiscal year, we're going to have another, you know, one issued based on the balance and so forth. So that's something to look into. But I thank you guys for the process. We're all in it together, and whatever we can do as lawmakers, help provide so it's easier for all of us. You know, it's not going to be easy, but, you know, we're all in it to ensure that we succeed. Thank you, too, for your testimonies, and thank you, Chairman.
This is just want to see Chairman Calvo. Any other member before we dismiss the invitees this morning? Any other comments you would wish to offer, no, Secretary? We're good.
Just that I appreciate all your. We welcome all the questions. We'll take them, and we're working on it. Actually, to invite Tinian and Rhoda, that was already in the plan.
Wonderful.
Even the trainings, it's already in the plan to take them. And
thank you. We appreciate it, no, sa importante ti kada dia man maidukai ne. No, we have to learn something new. Before I take a short recess, naya mo sa siga do mangklo mo agency. The finance siga pro dangklo talo. Stay tuned. No, so with that, thank you, Secretary Mafnas and Director Maritita, and we're gonna take a 3-minute recess. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're back into our meeting, and we left off with the discussion on House Bill 24-30 SD1. I wish to thank Secretary of Commerce and Director Dave Martita, Secretary of Commerce Mafnas, for joining the committee today. If there's no objection from the members, I wish to take a recess, and we'll reconvene back at 1:30 this afternoon. And when we do, I wish to ask that we continue on with the old business and discuss a couple of legislations that requires further discussion. Primarily Senate Bill 2426, 2425, and House Bill 24-18. Okay, so with that, we are on recess until 1:30 this afternoon. Si Jesus Masi.